Alright folks, I'm back at it. I told you I hate painting. I hate it with a passion. Can't see under the tarp there. You can see right here some of the red. This whole thing was painted all nice and pretty red. And then the fisheye that was here originally that caused me to want to paint it came back again after sanding most of it. Didn't sand the whole thing right down to metal like we did most of the other parts. All the fisheye came back. So I sanded it, and the whole thing was painted. It was all red. It looked really pretty. But no, not acceptable. So I sanded all the new paint and the paint down to metal, right down to the bare metal. And it's hard to see in a camera, but what we ended up with here is all these serrations. If you can see, it looks like dripping. The whole machine, pretty much. Not the whole, but a whole lot of the machine has these, I call them like stretch marks. They almost look like acid went through it. They're all under here. So what I did was, well, kind of hard to see. I'm getting them covered here. I put putty on it. So what I did is, after it was all down to bare metal, I primed it, and as I just started to scuff up the primer, I seen what had happened is that these things were just low enough. The primer's higher where the metal is, lower where the little valleys are. You can see some in there. And if I would have put the paint on it, they would have all shown through. So I put there's a good video, a good picture of right there. Let's see. The video will do it there. No, kind of. All those little, looks like rivers. There's some name for this when you cold roll steel, but I'm not sure. The bottom line is, when I took it all right down to metal, I took whatever had filled all them little things in, and when I put a nice coat of primer on it, and then went to scuff it, I seen again, you know, the primer would be higher here than it would be in the valley. As you can see, the different colors of those valleys are thicker with material. So sanded it all down so the valleys and the metal are the same height, and hopefully you won't see it. And then I said, I'm done with this, so I took spot putty. As you can see here, the whole thing is all, you know, the whole thing's spot puttied. And I'm waiting for that to harden. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to sand it. Then I'm going to prime it again. Then I'm going to sand it. And then whatever it looks like after that, it looks like. I got other projects. I got things to do. This is just ridiculous. So I say I hate body work. I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the time. And I don't have the technique. I'm sure someone out there that does body work is probably throwing things at their TV right now with some idea about how this is supposed to have gotten done to get rid of all them little dimples. And yeah, I got a picture. I'll try and add a still photo that when it was bare metal that really shows these little, they'll just look like stretch marks in the paint, and they're just, you know, minuscule, 64 thick, but it's just enough. And so when you put the paint on, it fills that hole and then builds up around side it. I think if I would have done what I wanted to do in the first place and just use Rust-Oleum paint, thinned it down some, it would have went on thicker. I think it might have been alright. But using actual automotive PPG, it's thin, the primer's thinned down, and it just isn't going to fill in there. I mean, definitely if we just brushed it on like a lot of, you know, agricultural and industrial equipment, they just brush it and just blast it. But no, I decided I was going to try and do it all pretty and special. And I just like, see, I just made a total mess of my shop, which is just ridiculous. There's dirt. And from one end to the other, there's just dust and more debris, and yeah, nah, don't like it. So Well, we'll see how it comes out again. I didn't even take a picture of it all done the first time. And from a glance, it looked good. You know, of course, there's dirt in it, and there's going to be dirt in it because that's my fan up there. And it draws the air that way. But that's all I can do. Either that or I die from the fumes. I have two furnaces that way that I'm not going to try and turn the pilot lights on and turn on. There's 3 stories up here, retail store and 2 offices, and I know the heat rises and the fumes go with it, so I got to keep the vent going to get the fumes out the door. So whatever dust we get in there, we get in there, but I couldn't leave all those streaks of, just looked like the whole metal was all stretch marked, and that ain't good. Alright, catch you later.